Good morning. In my reflections this morning, it just appears to me that all of us are working pretty heavily on our third chakra right now. So with that said, I thought, well, let's just work it out through our core. And remembering that the practice sometimes of core is more of a spiritual experience as much as it is a physical experience, because we're working on empowering ourselves. So with that said, we're going to start off on our back. So what I'd like you to do is pull your knees into your chest and start to feel the hug. So as you come onto your back, if you need to place a block underneath your head, do so that there's no pressure on the neck. And then grab those hands and elbows and get those knees in nice and tight. And sort of just collect yourself. So let's get connected on the inside together. And being present to each other. And then being present for our bodies. And being present for the breath. And on the next breath, place the feet on the floor, come up into bridge pose. So lift the hips up. Walk your elbows closer towards the heels of your feet. And I want you to feel the stretch through the front body, right? And the idea is, if we're going to develop our core, we also need to stretch it out as well, especially if you have a tendency to operate in resistance. Now, toe heel your feet in towards each other so that they're actually touching. We'll inhale the right leg up towards the sky. And then I want you to lift and lower your hips towards the floor just a little bit. Just keep working on the hips lifting. Now I want you to feel it in your inner thigh on the left leg. So internally rotate that left leg at the same time. As you're watching your right heel reach towards the ceiling. Now push through the right heel at the same time. We're going to do this a few more times. Now on the next breath, you're going to come back into a one-legged bridge pose. So lift the hips up. Slowly lower the right leg towards the floor. Have it tap the floor. Now make sure your hips are even to each other, and then inhale the right leg back up. The hips are going to be even to each other. Lower the heel. We're going to do this a few times. And the idea is, can you stabilize the hip flexors while you're lifting and lowering your leg? Hopefully your inner thigh is starting to feel a little burn, which would be so awesome. Now use a strong upper body to support the actions as well. And on the next breath, bring the right leg back up towards the sky. Place the hips on the floor and then dangle the right ankle over the left knee. Let the right knee go towards the floor and get that stretch. And on the next breath, start to bring your knees in towards each other. Extend your left leg towards the top of the ceiling, and then have your hands grab your calves. Maybe you grab below the knee. Maybe you grab with the two-piece fingers, wherever your range of motion resides. Pull that leg in. Now at the same time, as you're working on extending your left leg up towards the sky, keep pushing the right knee towards the top of your mat. In through the nose and out. Now we're going to release the hands, interlace them behind the head, and start to pulse. So lift the scapulas up off the ground as you start to take your gaze forward. Feel the rib cage as it goes closer towards the belly button, and then it releases. The rib cage comes in and then it releases. Doing this a few more times. Now keep the scapulas lifted. Maybe even cradle the head to support you as you start to lower the legs towards the floor. Once your legs are towards the floor, here we are. Start to lift and lower the scapulas a little bit more. You're doing great. Hang in there. Lift and hold for 3, 2, 1. Oh, inhale those legs all up towards the sky. Make eagle legs. So you're just going to take the right foot behind the left foot. Here you are. You take a big breath in. You can release your arms out to your side and then take the twist. So take your eagle legs over towards the left side of the room and get the stretch. Keep thinking about extending that right shoulder towards the floor at the same time. And remember that there's a balance between building strength and then finding some stretch or flexibility, right? So they work together simultaneously. One is not more important than the other. They work together, and we're going to come back to center. So keep your eagle legs. Now you're just going to add eagle arms. So once again, you'll lift your torso up off the ground, take the right arm underneath the left, and we're going to pulse a few times. Now, as you do this, you can work on the stretch, which means your hands are going to come up over your head and your feet are going to touch the floor. Or you can work on the contraction, keeping it really tight, where you just tap the elbows to the knees a few times, keeping the chin tucked into the chest. On the next breath, leave your scapulas up. Just unwind your legs. And pulse a few times. Unwind your arms, reach forward, pulse a few times. On your next breath, take your hands behind your knees, pull them in. We're going to roll all the way up into a forward fold. So take your time. Use this time to get into the back. And as you come into a forward fold, lengthen your spine, widen your sit bones, and start to feel the stretch in the backs of your legs that you've already started to create. As we tuck the chin into the chest, we'll roll up one vertebra at a time, spider fingers, as they're going to reach all up towards the sky. And on the exhale, Samastitihi, bring your hands to prayer at the center of the chest. Slowly roll down one vertebra at a time till your fingertips are in contact with the mat. Lengthen your spine. The right leg's going to come back. We're going to lower the right knee down to the ground. Anjaneyasana asana. Sweep your arms up nice and high. Now here's the chance to get that front body stretch. Just like we practiced in bridge pose, we want to feel the stretch through the front body. The hands are going to come down to the mat. Engage the right leg so that you can clear the left leg through high plank. Exhale into low plank. Inhale into up dog. And exhale into downward facing dog. Walk your dog out. And just like we've talked about in the past, you want to widen your collarbone. Keep the upper body in integrity while there is a simple movement happening at the back. Inhale the right leg up towards the sky. The right leg's going to come through to the top of the mat. Anjaneyasana, lower the left knee down to the ground. Sweep your arms up nice and high. Same intention. Feel the stretch through the left leg and the belly. Hands are going to come down to the mat. Engage the left leg so that the left foot can meet the right foot at the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, folding. Roll up one vertebra at a time so you can really feel that front body stretching as you reach your fingertips up towards the sky. Samastitihi, hands to prayer. Lower them all the way down to the mat. Extend your arms out in front of you and lower yourself down so you can feel yourself being really close to your heels. Now, if you have a short Achilles, you might have to come up on your tippy toes. You're going to roll back one vertebra at a time. Pilates roll-ups. Coming up nice and slow and going down nice and slow. So ideally we want to have the feet flexed. Feel the rolling in your spinal column just like we were doing in your Tadasana.
You're going to tuck your chin into your chest, roll up one vertebra at a time. Roll back one vertebra at a time. Reaching up towards the sky. And then tuck the chin into the chest, roll up nice and slow. Eventually we're going to make ourselves right into bridge pose. So as you lower yourself down, just bring your feet in so they're underneath your knees. Robot arms, feel the transition. Lift the hips up. Now once the hips go up, walk your arms in closer towards the heels of your feet. Feel connected to the bridge. Currently your feet are 2 fists width apart, just like we would practice in the beginners series. But as we start to move into the core strengthening, toe heel your feet in towards each other until they're kissing, inner thighs included. The left leg is going to come up towards the sky. Same intention. You're going to lower the hips towards the floor and then inhale, lift them up. Now let's just do this a few times. Work with your right leg. Keep it internally rotated so that the inner thigh gets fired up, keeping the hips even to each other at the same time. Keep lifting and lowering. On the next breath, you lift up nice and high. Now start to slide that left leg forward. You're going to tap the heel to the floor. Feel the hips coming up a little bit higher. Lift the left leg up towards the sky. And again, lifting and lowering. Focus on quality more so than quantity. Where there's that connection between how you're using your body and your breath at the same time. And this morning when I was teaching a private, we talked a lot about sensations. Sensations and how they are like a barometer for things. Emotions are a barometer. But when we label them good or bad, then we miss the point. Inhale that left leg back up. Lower the hips towards the floor. You're going to dangle the left ankle over the knee and then just have the left knee go towards the top of the mat. On your next breath, from here, take that leg all the way up towards the sky. Take your hands, wrap them around your calf, same intention. Now check in with your head. I know many of you like to overuse the neck, so I want you to keep it in integrity or place a block underneath it. So perhaps sensations come up for you when you do core work. Do you have an opinion about doing core work? Do you have a judgment about doing core work? Interlace your fingers behind your head and pulse. There is nothing more paralyzing than our inner critic. Lift and lower. Then we're coming all the way up. Squeeze those elbows in around the ears. Start to lower the legs towards the floor. Small pulses here with the upper chest. Keep working on dropping that left knee. Lots of energy through that right heel. And on the next breath, lift that leg back up towards the sky. You'll put a little bend in the knee so you can go right into eagle legs. The left foot's going to go behind the right. You'll go right into your twist. So take your knees over towards the right side of the room this time and extend the left arm out. Here are sensations. The space between the hip flexor, your floating rib cage, your armpit, otherwise known as your pec, and then the scalenes around the neck. Can you Soften all of those things while we move on to the next stretch. And coming back to center. Eagle arm, so the left arm goes underneath, and we'll pulse. Opening it up really wide or contracting it. Pull those elbows in tight, tight, tight. Hold. Unwind the legs. Keep working your arms back and forth. Unwind your arms, take them between your thighs. On your next breath, take your hands behind your legs, pull your knees into your chest. And again, just like we did before, you tuck your chin in. Remember that rounding sensation that we worked on? We're going to keep applying that, developing a new skill, coming into a forward fold. So hang here, feel that rounding. Notice how you utilize your neck if there's still tension around the traps. And we'll roll up one vertebra at a time. Fingertips will go all up towards the sky. On the exhale, Samasthiti, hands come to prayer. And then bring the hands down to the mat. Inhale, lengthening. This time we'll bring the left leg back. So as the left knee comes down to the ground, drop the left knee for Anjaneyasana. Sweep your arms up. Again, focus on that stretch. And as your hands come down to the mat, engage the left leg. Slide the right leg back. Here you are, high plank. Exhale into low plank. Now, as you take your up dog, become more conscious of how important this one is, especially after you've been doing core work. And downward facing dog. Walk your dog out, still keeping those arms nice and strong at the same time. On the next breath, the left leg comes up towards the sky. Bring it through to the top of the mat. Anjaneyasana. Lower the right knee down to the ground. Arms up. We'll bring the hands down to the mat. Engage the right leg. Forward fold. The right foot meets the left. Lengthening your spine. Fold till your chest and thighs touch. One more time, roll up nice and slow. Fingertips all the way up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. One more time. Start to think about it. You're going to lower yourself down until you're sitting on your heels, just like if it was a squat. Your arms can be out in front of you or they can be down on the floor. It's just getting acclimated. Can you feel your knees and your armpits at the same time? And start to feel that transition where you want to roll back. There's a nice C curve in the lower back. Some of you may need to open up your knees a little bit to sort of support that exchange. And we'll roll all the way back again, Pilates roll-ups. So your fingertips are out in front of you, feet are flexed. And again, feel that pelvic roll. Starts from the pelvic bowl, then it goes to the lower back, then it goes to the upper back. Then you can start to feel your chin tuck in. As your chest comes down, you release all of that, arms up nice and high. Tuck your chin in. Feel the upper chest, then the rib cage, then the pelvic bowl. Lean forward. It's a great oscillation through the spinal column. We practice this a lot in vinyasa, where we encourage you to oscillate between downward facing dogs and high planks, or from up dogs into downward facing dogs. So you're building strength by learning something new and then being able to apply it. That's what builds the self-esteem. Is when we learn how to apply it. How will we apply it? A few more of these. And then hold. Extend your right leg, and then extend your left leg and hold. Roll down nice and slow, nice and slow. And then rest down on the mat. Let's take 5 breaths here. Just in case we were holding our breath while we were making our transitions. And then again, practicing our transition, place your feet on the floor. Take your hands behind your thigh bones. Roll a few times. Tucking that chin in. And we'll roll ourselves right into a seated position just like we started. And as we end class today, what I'd like us to do is just take our right hand, place it on our heart, and left hand on the belly. You know, every time we get on our mat, it takes us in the direction we want to go in. Eventually, it just becomes second nature. Much like your asana practice. Eventually, it will become second nature. So from my heart to yours, namaste, namaste, and woof. Peace out, guys.